Hi. Thought I'd do a little video because one of my friends has just been round and had a coffee, and it was really nice to have a catch up with her. And you know what it's like, when you get busy with life, all of you just don't really get a chance to have proper catch ups, and then when you do sit down for 5 minutes it ends up being ages because you're like, oh my god, there's so much to like cram in and whatever. So we've said we're gonna have to do it more often. But it made me think, because we were talking about all sorts and we're both married, so we were chatting about married life and our husbands and whatever, and just day-to-day stuff. And you know what, it just inspired me to do this little video because I thought to myself, there's so many like people that put up their relationships and stuff on Facebook and whatever else, and I'm guilty of it too. Like, I obviously put nice pictures when me and my husband are out for the day or going away at a weekend, or if there's different events and things that we go to, because they're highlights, aren't they? And it's something fun that you do together and you want to capture those moments. And I'm all about keeping it real, but I'm the first to admit, obviously if we're in a full-blown argument, I'm not going to do a quick video of him like screaming at me or me screaming at him and putting it all over for Facebook, because no one wants to see that. But I will sit here and do a video and say that anyone that, because I've had people in the past that have gone, me and my partner like don't argue, and we've, in the whole however many years of being together, we've never had one argument and everything's perfect all the time, and I shit roses and he never shits and whatever. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I need to put it out there, you know, just because you see nice pictures of me or anyone, like everyone does it, but it doesn't mean that every relationship's perfect. Me and my husband probably argue on average at least once a month, because it is quite stressful, because he does go away a bit with work, and you know, it's a different kind of way of life that we have, but it's the same for everyone. Like, everyone argues. We argue over things like, he really annoys the shit out of me the way that he puts the toilet roll, if he bothers to change the empty one and put a new one on, never. It annoys me that he puts it on the wrong way around. I like the toilet roll where you can pull it and it comes from the top, not pulling it from underneath. Do you know what I mean? So like, we argue about things like that. And when you live together and you spend any free time you do have together when you're not working, then you're going to argue about these kind of things. So anyone that kind of goes out there and says to other people that they don't, they're full of shit. And it's healthy, it's natural. No one, friends, family, partners, whatever, you're not always going to agree on everything. And I think more people should be honest about that. And I don't know, I'm not pinpointing anyone particularly, it's just a generalisation I've noticed. And like I say, because we were both having a good old natter today and going, oh, he didn't change the toilet roll, and oh, he didn't do this, and we were having a laugh about it. It just made me think there are so many people out there though that wouldn't be open and honest and say that their relationship's not perfect. So I think I'm quite proud and happy to stand up and say, you know, our relationship's not perfect, but we work on it, and that's what a relationship's about. It's about working on things, talking things through, and that's another difference between me. I don't know how many years back, like 10 years ago, I would never sit and have conversations about things. I'd just storm out of rooms and just disappear off and not want to discuss anything. Whereas now, I probably should do, I'm 30, I should be more of an adult, but in my relationship now, we argue and stuff, but we argue it out, do you know what I mean? So yeah, you like talk through things, argue stuff out, and then you can move on from it, and you learn a lot more from each other as a couple like that. Because, you know, I mean, you learn pretty quickly how to push each other's buttons, let's face it. But you learn how to resolve arguments, and it might feel like the worst thing in the world at the time, but then you get over it and you move forward with things. And I just think more people, I remember one friend, acquaintance of mine, this is a while back now, but I remember speaking to them and I was like, I felt like shit. Like, I was having a bad time, been arguing with my husband and whatever. Long and short of it, I confided in her. I was like, you know, I'm going through this, blah, blah. I was like, are you the same? Hoping that, or thinking she'd be real about it and go, oh, don't worry, we argue about things like that all the time. But she didn't. She was like, Oh, we never argue. Like, we literally never ever argue. I couldn't imagine arguing with him. And this is like I say, it was a while back now. And I just thought to myself, I was just like, you've made me feel like the worst. That's my dog going nuts. 2 seconds. Blue! Blue! Actually excited because she can hear another dog. Blue! 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 Stop it. Blue! Bloody monkey. Yeah, sorry about that. Life and all that. Real talk. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so she and this friend of mine made me feel so shit, and I was just like, I'm doing everything wrong. We shouldn't be arguing. I started comparing, thinking, oh my god, like we've been together this time, they've been together that time, and you start like playing it all out in your head and thinking, oh my god, I'm the worst person in the world, and our relationship's not going to last because we're already arguing. We've only been together this amount of time, blah blah. But the truth of the matter is, they're probably not going to last because they aren't, like, if you're not just having discussions about things, how are you learning about each other, and how do you know if the other person's upset? And I think it's the best thing in the world if you can cry in front of your partner, or if you can be a bit angry, and if there's a frustration, or if you can be that open and honest with each other and just be like, you've really pissed me off doing that, and whatever. I just think that it's a better way of dealing with things, and that's real life. People that are being honest, nothing's perfect. Life is not perfect. Life is too short to put up appearances and pretend that everything's fine when it's really not, or not really not in a bad way, but you know what I mean. Like the reality of it is everyone has arguments. Do you know what I mean? So no, it was just, I don't know. Like I said, I had a nice little brew this morning and a catch up with my friend, and we were just sat putting the world to rights.